Hey guys, it's byscreenside and I'm back with a new speed build video for you today. Today we have a build I called Mayflower Colonial, but before I get started talking about the build itself, I had a couple of just sort of housekeeping items I wanted to get out of the way. Firstly, I want to say welcome. There have been quite a few new subscribers this past week, and so if you're new to the channel, hi, welcome, and feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, feedback, anything for me. I keep a running little log of video suggestions and ideas that people throw out that I want to use in the future, and so it may be a while before I can do your video suggestion, or I am able to inspiration wise, but I keep a log, so your comments definitely go noticed, and I see it, I read every one of them. So welcome, hi, just wanted to say that, get that out of the way. And for those of you who watch my Let's Play videos, I've gotten a few comments to you guys missing those, and I'm sorry I haven't filmed a Let's Play video in a while, and those will be back in July, which is just a few days from now. So those are coming back, and thank you for your patience with me. I've just been in more of a mood to build whenever I load up the game, and but I set some time aside at the beginning of July to make sure that I can work on those. So those are coming back, and I'm very excited about a collaboration video that will be going up this week. As of right now, the plan is to have it up Thursday. Things may potentially change because, life happens, but as of right now, that's pretty much in the can, and I'm really, really excited about it because it's a little bit of something different, something I haven't quite done before, and I just think it's gonna turn out really cool. I'm very excited about it, so I hope you guys will stay tuned and check that out later this week. Stay tuned. That's so ugh. So I don't know. Pretend I didn't say that. Anyway, I hope that you guys will check that out later this week, is what I'm getting at. Okay. All right. So to the build itself, the build we're watching now. I called it Mayflower Colonial, and it is very traditional in terms of like the colonial style of house, which you will see all throughout the United States. If you're not, if you're not from the US, you will see these types of houses basically all over. It's a really common house style. There are tons of these types of houses where I live, and I know that you'll see quite a lot of this style house in the South as well. So yeah, you basically see it all over the US, and I called it Mayflower because it's just, well, first of all, I think Mayflower just sounds pretty, and secondly, for those of you who aren't familiar with American history, because maybe you're not from the US, a lot of people who watch my videos are not. It was the ship that carried over the the separatists to the U.S., and there was the Mayflower Compact, blah, blah, was something that it just basically, the passengers on that ship had a lot to do with establishing the colonies in early America, and you'll hear that name a lot in history class in the U.S. So yeah, that's why I picked that name, just because it's a very traditional American house, and it's deceptively kind of small. I think it looks a lot bigger from the exterior than what the actual interior is, because it's a 30 by 20 lot, and it's only 3 beds and 3 baths. So it's a small lot, and when I started building, I just sort of intended to build a small house, and then, I don't know, I just sort of got going on the idea of doing a colonial, because it's been a while since I've done one, and so I started, looking through Google Images, and just for colonial style houses, and a lot of them, a lot of colonial style houses have the black shutters, and I never used the colored shutters. And so that was a little bit of something different, and what made me kind of cinch the colonial style to work on was the fact that I don't hardly ever use colored shutters on my builds. So yeah, it's the exterior. It's, you know, sort of like a darker brick on the bottom and a lighter brick on the top. And again, that's just, you know, very realistic for this style of house. Sometimes I will sort of beef up the details on the exterior of a house when I'm trying to do something that's traditional, but in this case, I went very, you know, I tried to go for something really realistic. Now I used freezes, which I don't normally use, just to make a little bit more nice detail on the exterior. But other than that, it's very typical of a colonial house to see that. So one of the other sort of inspirations behind this house is I live in a neighborhood where just a couple blocks from where I live, there is a row of these really, really beautiful $1 million homes. And I mean, they're not mansions necessarily. I mean, they're very large homes, but I'm sure that just with property values, because they're very near, I live near a park that's a huge park that has like hiking trails and you know, picnic area. It's a really like nicely maintained park, and the, you know, the city does a lot to keep it up and keep it nice. And so right near the park there are a lot of really expensive, beautiful houses, just because, you know, obviously near the park is going to be one of the nicest places to live in town. And there are a couple of these really gorgeous colonial style houses, and it's a frustration for me because there's one in particular that would be perfect to recreate in The Sims. And when I'm driving around anywhere, I'm constantly, anymore, especially since I started this channel, every single house I see, my brain goes to, can I recreate that in The Sims? And like like the cogs, the wheels start turning in my brain, like trying to work out like what items in the game I could use to make it look like it looks. And it's so frustrating for me to drive by this house every day. And one of the main features on the front of this house is there are huge double tall columns, and we don't have that in the game. Like, there's just not really a way to recreate this particular style of column, because the ones that I put on the front of this house, as you'll see, have like kind of a square bottom to them and a square top. And if you stack them one on top of the other, there's just this like square bit in the center, or there would be, it would be in the center. It technically would be the top of the column, the top of one column and the bottom of another column meeting, if you know what I'm trying to say. But so yeah, of course that's not what those columns look like. And it's so frustrating because there are so many of these different houses, and there's just always like one thing that, like, to me looks really important to what makes the house so special, but we just don't have the item to recreate in The Sims. And it's usually just one or two things. Like, there's another Tudor style house that's absolutely probably the prettiest house on the block, and it has a stoned archway that we just don't have, like a stone trimmed archway. And yeah, so I don't know why I'm bringing this up. I'm just thinking about the colonial style house, I guess, that's nearby. But it's a frustration every day. I drive by and I think, oh, if only I had like this or that, I could recreate this house and it would be really cool. One of these days I might, you know, try and do one of those houses that are nearby that I really like. But yeah, as of right now, I don't feel like I can really nail it down. So this interior, it's very colorful and bright and very family oriented. My friend, she's known as Simlessy on YouTube, I was watching one of her builds very recently, and she was talking about how the parenthood content has it's sort of upped the game in terms of content of what we have. And I'm so glad she put a voice to what I was feeling, because I feel like I've been using the parenthood content so much in my builds recently. And I've been, I feel like oh, I'm not mixing it up enough or whatever because of that parenthood content. But at the same time, it's just a cut above the content that we have right now, in my opinion and her opinion, because I'm technically agreeing with her opinion right now. But yeah, it's so much better. The counters especially are so much better than what we have, and they're just, I don't know, they're just kind of the best right now. And I think the other counter styles don't quite measure up. So I've been using the parenthood content a lot. And so for those of you who don't have the pack, I'm sorry that my recent builds have been so parenthoody. I tried to mix up in my collaboration that's coming up later this week, I tried not to use too much parenthood content and mix it up a little bit more, but this one is still pretty heavily parenthoody. So sorry about that. I don't know if I mentioned, this is on a 30 by 20 lot, and it is 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. The bedrooms, two of the bedrooms I did in sort of the style of as if it were like maybe a teen girl and 2 young boys, like twin. So I imagined a pair of twin boys would be living in this house, and but the interior colors I wanted to keep really, really bright, kind of not necessarily pastel, but yeah, I just wanted the interior to be very open and bright looking. And so, but still kind of lived in, and a family style house. This living room is very minty. So if you were doing starting a not so berry challenge, this would your little mint sim would probably like this little living room. But it's definitely not necessarily geared for the not so berry challenge. It just, I was thinking about it when I was doing this living room because of the mint green aspects to it. Oh gosh. I have like a mental voiceover block. I have been struggling so hard with my voiceovers. There was a whole video that I didn't wind up getting to put out last week because it was like a 5 minute video, and I had I worked on the voiceover for a solid hour before finally just giving up and realizing it's just not going to happen. I think partly it might be because, and this is totally random, but I've been learning French from an app. Yeah, very random. But I like to learn new things, like about, once a year. I like to kind of like try and pick up a new skill. And last year it was YouTube, and the year before that I actually learned to crochet. Again, random, just whatever tickles my fancy at the time. I'll just decide, like, pick it up and decide to start learning it. And there's this app called Duolingo, and it just teaches you. There's tons of other languages that you can learn, and it just teaches them to you in these really little simple lessons. And so I've been internalizing what I've been learning. I'm only about like a quarter of the way, I think like 24% of the way through the course so far. But I think just trying to internalize a second language is what's causing me maybe to be a little bit more fighting with my words in my voiceovers. So don't like quiz me in like a year, like, so how well did you learn French? Let's see. But I don't know. As of right now, I've been sticking to it pretty solidly. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna attempt any French right now. It's funny because the the way that they pronounce the letter R is very much in the back of the throat, and it's so hard, like, for me as an American to do that. It's weird how different languages pronounce the letter R so differently. Like, I did take Spanish in high school and a little bit even in college, but a lot of in the Spanish language, the R will be rolled like and so it's just interesting to me how different cultures pronounce the or deal with the letter R so differently. That's random. I don't know why. But yeah, I also, and speaking of random, well, not really random, but things to talk about that aren't necessarily build related, I have a rant and something that's really been on my mind and it's really been bothering me all week. So I get off of work later in the day than my boyfriend does. He works an earlier schedule than I do at his job. And so a lot of times I will text him, about the time that I'm about to get off to work to make some plans like, do you want to go grab dinner or you want to go see a movie or something? And then I'll just, swing by on the way home and we'll just, go from there. Because I just tend to like to do things like immediately after I get off work if I have things to do. And so I always text OMW for on my way, okay? And my phone, my very annoying, very, very bad phone, this really, really bugs me. I have an iPhone and I put in OMW and it auto corrects it to on my way exclamation point. So it's like on my way, okay? And I hate the exclamation point. Why does my phone assume that I'm excited to be on my way? I mean, I understand usually if somebody is texting you like, "Hey, where are you?" and you're like, "I'm on my way," but I don't like it. So I'm constantly like having hit backspace to take out the exclamation point because it just bothers me that why does it assume that? What if somebody texted me like, "Hey, the funeral started, where are you?" You know what I mean? You don't necessarily know that I'm excited to be on my way or I need to express it in an exclamatory manner. Phone, you don't know that, okay? So it really, really makes me angry. And but so that has always bothered me. That has bothered me for a long time. And I was thinking about it on my drive home the other night, and then it hit me. When I text the word yay, like YAY, like yay, where is my phone at with the exclamation point? Nowhere. It never adds an exclamation point to anything else other than this one particular thing, which is on my way. I can type hooray, no exclamation point. I can type yay, no exclamation, wee, yay, huzzah, any of it. None of those things that you say when you're excited does the phone decide that you're excited to say it. That would really save me a lot of time. If I'm saying yay about something, I mean it with an exclamation point, always. Right? I mean, back me up on this. This is ridiculous. It really I know. It's like, why of all things would this be the thing that you choose to get all worked up over? But it is. It's the thing. It's on my nerves. What do you guys think? Back me up, right? I'm right on this, right? Okay, anyway. I'm sorry. So, this is the master bath, and I used some of the new fitness stuff pack items in it, which I have not talked about at all, have not had the chance to use or get into, but I really actually love the content that we got with the fitness stuff pack. For a modern styled stuff pack, this is among my favorites for the build and buy content. I really, 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 really love the teardrop wire like light pendant hanging light. You know what I'm talking about probably. It's probably the best item in the pack in terms of being able to utilize it in the future and for different things other than, gyms. But and then this corner tub, oh, love it. And I absolutely love that the Sims team put a slot for you to put things on. Like, for example, I use that candle because I feel like, if you're taking a nice soak in the tub, you would want, a candle to light nearby or maybe a little incense or something. So I feel like that was really awesome of the Sims team to just to have thought of that for us. And I like it whenever the Sims team, it's clear that they took builders into consideration. Like when the Vampires pack came out, a lot of the trees and bushes that came with that pack have like an automatic shadow on the bottom, which was really nice in terms of like having to do landscape painting later on. Having that shadow just automatically added to the item saves a minute, and I like that. So, bravo to the Sims team for adding a slot to that tub. Very well done. But yeah, no, all in all, I really think that the fitness content was extremely clever in that the way that they incorporated, that rock climbing element really subtly. In some cases, not so subtly, but in a lot of cases, very subtly incorporated that into the pack. And I'm very appreciative of that. Just, things that when I would think of doing a fitness pack, I would have thought maybe like very, very sleek and very modern. But there's a bit of a rustic edge to a lot of the items in the new pack because of the rock climbing theme. There are some items that mimic, rock or have like kind of nice rustic edges, and I just think it was so well done, and yeah, very clever. I'm very impressed. So yay on that. And I didn't build a gym because there are so many gyms that are out right now. I just built a really huge spa slash gym back in, I think, April. So I probably will build a gym at some point. Well, I know I will build one eventually again in the future. And I do have an idea for sort of a fitness themed build to do again that would be different from the spa that I built not that long ago. But yeah, it'll probably be a little bit of time before I work that, or before I work out that build, but I do have ideas for it. So yeah. In this master bedroom, I used those armchairs from the Parenthood pack just to sort of choose the color scheme for that room, and I like that it's like kind of a bright blue. I don't normally do that sort of a shade for a bedroom, or at least not for a master bedroom. And then the bedroom that you saw me earlier when I believe I was ranting about my phone I picture as being like sort of more of a tween type of room or a teen room. So she has a little computer desk and a nice bed. And this is the one that I said, I kind of see like maybe twin boys who are athletically inclined. So that rug from the Parenthood pack, I sized it up to make it, like a big basketball court rug on the floor. And so I did just a lot of, athletic themed items and a blue and orange color scheme. And I think I've mentioned this before. I don't use orange very often because it's my least favorite color. I'm just not a big fan of orange. I don't know why, but it's not my favorite, but I'll use it every now and then, and I did this time. I thought those skateboards I love those skateboards. I can't even. I don't know why. It's just they speak to me. I I love them. But yeah, we're getting ready to come up on the screenshots. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave your comments, suggestions, feedback, ideas for future videos, all that stuff in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!